we are back, episode 162 of Journey to Million here on this Wednesday night. Myself, Drew Skyberg here, joined alongside Zack Rausch and Jared Valleskey, ready to tier rank some coaches. We realized we've done the positions, not tight ends though. That one's going to take a lot of brain power and a lot of energy, but head coaches are left. And that's one we debate often on this show, so we feel it'll be a great exercise to go through today. But first and foremost, how are you both doing tonight?
I'm all right.
Zach's working trades, as always, it appears, on his phone.
Yeah.
I'm working through some stuff.
But
it's going to be a good team.
Jared's doing well.
Jared, have you ever co-managed a team before?
No, I've been asked to like 4 times, but haven't heard anything from it since. I think you asked me to do it once. Drew did.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, you would never ask me. You would never.
No.
I've been asked a few times, but I never.
In a redraft, actually, Jared, maybe, but Dynasty, nope.
I was never even given my team. Drew, like,
I don't get it. You drafted your team in Drew's league, and it's still shit.
No, I was at work when it drafted. Remember that? And I was trying to pick at work. This was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
I only gave a 1 month notice, I think, so it was pretty rough, Zach.
Yeah, I was at work doing it. I didn't draft any of my teams like straight up, except for my one Dynasty league that I'm actually decent in. And I have a good team.
We're not in it. Ours aren't on.
Yeah, no proof.
Just to prove that Jared can't draft.
I mean, I got third in the league last year, so I mean, I'm decent.
In what league?
In the other league, the Dynasty league.
One we're not in?
Yeah.
Cameras aren't on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the league I'm in that you guys aren't in, oh, my team's loaded. One that
really?
Back. You want me to read my damn team? Like, you've seen it.
No, you've read it, Jared. It's the 18 one, right?
It's 12, but yes, cool.
It's a very mediocre team.
There's like 7 flex spots or something. I don't know.
Did Bernie make the league?
It's quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end,
exactly
and then 3 flex and a super flex. My starting roster is my quarterbacks. Hold on. My quarterbacks are Sam Darnold and Richardson, which is kind of weak, but like it's.
You can't say a team is good and then say your quarterbacks are Sam Darnold and Anthony Richardson.
You're gonna have 2 really good receivers. I've seen this team.
Yeah,
it's very good.
Bijan and JT are my running backs. My receivers are Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Chris Godwin. I got Pickens. I have Jaden Reed. I have who else? Ayuk, Pittman, Pearsall, Trey Harris.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good running backs. That's about it.
Oh, so Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Chris Godwin. Yeah, they're just terrible. No offense players.
What about your tight end?
My tight end right now, I have like 3 of them. I don't know who to start. I have Hunter Henry, Kyle Pitts, Kate Otten, and Dalton Schultz, and Isaiah Likely. Zach, you're expecting this team to be amazing. It's a 12-team league. This team is amazing in a 12-team league.
Dude, I have 4 dynasty leagues that are 12 teams each, and I think every single one of my teams is better than that.
I said Bijan and JT, and you went, I guess.
That's the only good part of that team that you just read. Everything else is like
okay.
You like his receivers, Zach.
12 team or whatever. Yeah, he's got good
Zach
depth.
loves Godwin. This is crazy.
Great depth.
Yeah, he's got Godwin. Higgins is good. Hill is,
Pearsall?
I mean, maybe good.
Potentially.
Pearsall.
Okay,
I'm
so
talking about Pearsall and Reed.
So you just said Godwin, Higgins, and Hill. You say Hill's good. Tyreek Hill is a good receiver. The hell you like? What do you mean?
He was horrible last year.
Yeah, he had a bad year. It's still Tyreek Hill.
You
just said those 3. Then you said JT and Robinson are my good part of my team. So there's 5 out of the 8 right there, or 3, 4, 5, 6,
I'm not
7,
giving you Hill in there.
5 out of the 9. So that's already over half of my team being good. And then you're making the argument that George Pickens, Jaden Reed, Hunter Henry, or whoever else I started my tight end are bad. And then you hate Richardson, so you're not going to say he's good. And then Sam Darnold.
Is it super flex or 1 quarterback, Jared?
It's super flex.
So you're banking on Anthony Richardson playing every game this year?
No, not really. I have trades to be made. I have some like hooked up right now just in case I need one. Well, I also have Tyrone Tracy, Najee Harris, Isaiah Pacheco,
Just meh.
I have a lot of depth though. Like I can put in anyone and be okay.
Jeez. It's a playoff team. I mean,
Quentin
I don't know
Johnston.
the other rosters. It'll probably be a playoff team,
Who's-
pending quarterback.
I also have like
probably,
4
but-
first-round picks for next year, just so you know, because I traded away Tua.
Wow.
So
Why would you
I know
trade
Zach's.
Tua with that team.
Huh? Because at the time I had Cooper Rush and I was fine for the year, and then, yeah, Tua was hurt. He got hurt for like all of the last season, and I traded him as soon as he got hurt. I was like, I need a quarterback, so I traded for Sam Darnold. I traded away Tua, and I got like Pittman and like 3 firsts, and I also traded a tight end. Who did I trade?
In order for me to say a superflex team is good, when you have Darnold and Richardson as your quarterbacks, you better have the best wide receiver and running back room I've ever heard of. There's a very good chance that in a year from now, you have 0 starting quarterbacks on that roster.
What do you mean, Zach? Oh my God, you're delusional. You're delusional.
It's not that far-fetched.
Well, what I'll say is he's got 4 firsts, in which that's, I mean, if he makes another move for a quarterback, but I'd
Jalen
argue
Milroe as well. I mean,
he's going to be able to
drafted him
use
this year.
those firsts to get a quarterback who might get a start. Well, and we obviously don't know what teams there will be, but we know there's going to be a rookie quarterback, in the next class who's going to start at some point in the following year. It's just always how it is. So I think this year, though, Zach, he's betting on that. Is it 4 or 6 point for Superflex too? It's probably 4.
Yeah.
So, the other pieces,
I'm still holding on to like Cooper Rush, and then I have Jalen Milroe that I drafted this year just in case. But they're probably not going to play.
Yeah, Milroe's got a shot to. Well, you have Seattle's quarterback room.
Yeah.
So you just need a second quarterback room.
We'll say Richardson. If Richardson plays the way he could, I'm fine. Then I have a guaranteed.
Daniel Jones available?
Oh.
Well,
this is also a league that the top teams are insane because there's a lot of corruption in this league that let's tank so we can get the top teams, and the team that tanked was one of the best teams. He's I don't know if I want to compete this year, so I'm just gonna tank. And now he has he has Genty and he has Chase Jefferson, he has the best team.
That's why the commissioner
Josh Allen
at least having a decent.
Yeah.
If you have the players, you have to start them. You can't bench Jamar Chase.
I was going to leave this league last year, but my friend who's in the league as well was let's do it one more year. And I was like, whatever, that's fine. But this team is insane. It's so stupid. Jaden Daniels, Bucky Irving, Omarion Hampton is his other running back. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Love is his second quarterback. He's got Rodgers as well as a third. But, his receivers are insane. His tight end is Tucker Kraft. He's got Chuba Hubbard. He's got Quinshawn Judkins, Caleb Johnson.
Dude, you're getting smoked by that team. You might lose by 50.
I know, because they cheat. They cheat. He's only projected, 15 more points than me, but, he's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I was gonna also say, pivot here. We did our fast food tier rankings last week as well as our we did running backs too with it. I don't actually remember now because I was too focused on the food rankings.
Yeah,
I think we did running backs.
Yeah,
running back rankings were overall we got great feedback on collectively. I think that was probably our best one. Yeah, in regards to just fairly simple. Who are the S tier guys? I think we had the tiers pretty set.
Yeah.
The food one, however, some controversies. Popeyes was told by many
that it was amazing, and we underrated.
We had it top a C, and
it should be A. Yes, you're right. That's what I
heard
said,
high B from a couple folks. I even heard low A, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah, because Popeyes is amazing. You guys were hating on it.
Literally what Jared said.
Yeah.
Then the sub places, Firehouse Subs was too low. Was another comment that stood out. We had that kind of with Jersey Mike's. That's one that not everybody's had before, so understand. A lot of people said Chipotle over Qdoba. That we had that wrong. We just had them back
I
to
think
back.
we factored in the price there a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we did say they were like, well, then why 5 guys S tier, Zach? That was the other.
Well, Five Guys just has
rebuttal I
good
got.
quality food. I mean, you pay for it, but it's good. Like,
So that's the other tough piece. Overall, S tier was well thought out. I was the feedback. Oh, the pizza places too was the last one. Was people were, and obviously everybody, it's like a sub place. Everybody's got their
Mhm.
pizza or sub place, so it's very.
what
it's
were people saying
defensive.
about pizza?
Pizza Hut should have been
Oh my
higher. I
God.
thought that was crazy.
There it is. That's insane. No,
And
no matter what, I will never change my mind on that. I'll try it.
Domino's being the first pizza place was a consensus though, but
Yeah,
that
I'll
one
try Pizza Hut
well.
again like this year or next year, and I'm not gonna like it. But I always like trying it like once every 4 years or so, and I just can't stand it.
And the other problem was Little Caesars was too high for some people in regards to the whole price thing again. Oh, well, it's cheap pizza, but are you including price? So
Yeah.
just another debate was amongst those. But besides that, overall, good ranking. So that was the recap.
I'm telling you, people love Popeyes like to death, and I thought it was.
You're making me want to go back to Popeyes.
Yeah, their chicken sandwich is like the best you'll ever have. I think.
Nope.
$25.99. We do family. We can split it.
No.
Oh, you're acting like we've never done that.
Zach's had it like one time in the
serious?
last like 5 years, and he just forgot what it tastes like because of how much.
I
he
haven't
in
had
high
it
school.
since high
Yeah.
school.
You had it so much in high school that you probably just got
Zach?
used to it, and now you don't remember how good it is.
Zach and I combined, we split a 4-person family meal.
Wow. It's like the Airbnb for 7 people, huh? Okay.
All right, Jared. It's
All right.
literally 3 beds, and there's 3 of us.
If
I
it
don't know
says
what
6
you're
guests,
complaining about.
like it's probably
Because it says
bed.
each bed is 2 people.
Yeah,
I don't
are they
want to sleep
twins
with you.
or are they
you know?
queen?
So
Well, I'm just saying.
they're
like,
probably queen or full or whatever.
yeah, so I'm saying is like, yeah, there might be 3 beds total, but like there also might be like 8 rooms in this place and like 6 bathrooms. Like we don't need that, dude.
It's like 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath. I think we don't need 2.5 bath.
Do we all have to shower at
need
the same
that.
time or like what?
2.5. There's only 2 showers, Jared. So
It was only like it was less than 200. So Drew was clutch with letting us stay with at his aunt's place, but it's just
Hey, the trip will be fun.
I didn't pay too much, so I'm okay. It's fine. I just was pissed that you were looking at some
complaining the entire time we were booking
$600 Airbnbs for 3 nights, like $200 a night. Let's get a damn hotel for like $80 a night. Like, jeez, Christ.
I don't know
It's
what
gonna
kind of hotel you
it's
think
gonna
you're
be
finding for
electric.
$80 a night.
Yeah.
2 football
hotel.
games, a baseball game. I haven't even looked if the Phillies are in town. I mean, but we
They're
could
not.
literally just make it
I
2
love it.
baseball too.
I look, they're not.
Where are the Brewers
They're
playing
in-
at that time?
They're in like Arizona or something. I looked at
Yeah.
Nationals too. They're also out of town.
I did look at them, but we got a baseball game, and that's one way to appease you is you get more football than baseball on a trip.
You said the
Yes.
Brewers are in Arizona, or are you saying the Phillies?
The Phillies, I think.
Maybe the Brewers
That's
played like the Orioles or something.
No, Orioles Yankees is the game we'll see.
We're going to one of those games, Jared. We
Yeah,
know who they're playing already.
yeah, I know. When are we going? September? Let me just check where the Brewers are. I'm not saying they're going to be there, but I mean,
the people who booked this trip for you already looked into all this.
they're only like on the complete opposite side of the.
This is the very first thing he's looking into.
No.
We got
So-
tickets, airplanes, Airbnb, everything's booked already.
So listen. So they play in St. Louis, which is kind of far away, right? But hear me out. Hear me out. Monday, Tuesday, they're in San Diego. We might be able to make that work. We might be able to.
You can take off work and we can do it. Awesome.
Yeah, you
Sounds
just
good.
take a
maybe
quick flight
take some vacation.
across the U.S. Not everyone can work from home and sit on their ass for 2 hours a day and call it work outside of tax season, Zach. All right.
Who said I'd do that?
I saw you golfing the other day. Oh, hard at work, are we? Like, yeah.
It was like 5 o'clock.
It was
I
like
was
2.
golfing.
All right. Let's do some tier rankings. Coaches,
Oh, it was on
First
Friday. Yeah, I don't really work
Oh.
Fridays.
Yeah.
first and foremost, we go with Aaron Glenn. Newest coach of the Zach's Jets. So let's preface this. We're tier ranking coaches. How do we tier rank? Like we're looking at let's say, because obviously some of these teams don't have the most gifted rosters. We're looking at how great the coach is, and how we view the coach, what kind of impact we believe. So, like Mike Tomlin's a great example. That's a guy you might have rated higher. That's the
It's hard to rank
overall.
coaches, because if they have a good team, they're going to be rated high. If they have a bad team, it's low. But like sometimes great coaches coach really bad teams.
Well, then they're not a very good coach.
Well, they are, but
The expectation is to win at the end of the day, Jared.
Yeah.
But
a coach could be the best coach in the league one year and then the worst the next year. Like, what's his name?
well, look at Harbaugh.
Mike
It's just
Vrabel.
a
Like
total
Mike
winner.
Vrabel. Like,
Oh.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
Vrabel's
almost
going to be
like-
an interesting one. You bring a good point. But
Aaron
let's go to
Glenn,
Glenn.
F.
Okay.
D.
I think he's
Yeah.
the worst.
Well,
I would say.
He's down there.
Yeah.
I didn't like the hires, so.
I don't like the hire.
He
I was
said
going to
it's
say
not
C
his
for
head
now,
coach.
but I don't know what our B and because keep in mind this
Whoa.
one has an S and an A tier.
I feel like
Well,
Zach's
yeah,
gonna
but
have
who's going to be below him?
Fine,
Yeah,
we'll
D's
put D
fine.
for now. Okay, D'Amico.
B. He was in like coach of the year talks 2 years
Okay.
ago, but
Now Harbaugh.
which one?
He's got to be A.
Which one?
He's got to be A or S.
He's A. Put him in A for now.
He's A.
I mean, he only has 1 year in the NFL, right?
Well, he is in San Francisco back in the early 20s.
Yeah, that's where we're looking at the
Yeah.
total.
He's Super Bowl head coach already.
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that Jim or John? It's John.
I believe. Yeah, that's John.
B.
You're taking Jim over John.
think- Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Should they be right next to each other?
Was it because he's too aggressive? What's the knock on him?
I agree, but I think they're same tier.
Yeah.
Could they be?
Oh.
Let's.
I see John Harbaugh the same way I see like Dan Campbell. Like if their plays work out, they're the best coach in the league, but they're really risky and sometimes they look stupid.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Who's
you're
that? Is that Murr?
That's Murr.
I think he's got to be C or D.
He rubbed me the wrong way.
I mean, well, he got hired in Arizona, and they didn't change at all. They're still not a good team.
Yeah.
The defense
Yeah.
hasn't been great either, so it's not like he came and flipped that around.
No, it's
Right.
yeah.
Right.
The team just doesn't.
That's what he should be.
You got that? Wait, that's fire in your gut, dude, isn't it? Murr. You got that fire in your gut?
What?
Who's fired up? You got that fire in your gut? You remember that video? No? Drew knows. Look it up.
It was one of his pregame, or
Yeah.
I think Kellen
I'm looking
Moore.
for killers. Okay.
D.
He hasn't gotten a head coaching shot yet, so it's hard. Also,
He was a good offensive coordinator, but
see, let me just ask you this:
I got
where-
more confidence with him than
if-
Glenn.
If
But
Cliff
not team
Kingsbury
wise.
was on this list, where would you put him? F.
No.
D pro.
He was an awful
D.
head coach, but he's a really good coordinator.
Well, yeah, we're not.
We don't.
looking
Yeah, sure. We got to use Kellen Moore's offensive coordinator.
But like
career
that's what I'm
because-
saying, because like I mean, yeah, he hasn't been a head coach. Like, I get it. It's just like hard to rank people like that.
Yeah, O'Connell is yes.
I think he's S tier. I really do.
Yeah,
That's like
I
Packer
wouldn't be
fan
mad about
saying
it.
that.
Stefanski's.
Stefanski's
B.
8.
Yeah, he's A or B.
I think he's low
He has what 2 Coach of the Year awards, and then the other 2 years the Browns have been awful.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
again,
It's
Zach,
very up and
I'm
down.
going
Joe Flacco and that offense made the playoffs, winning 12 games. Like, I mean,
with that team in general.
yeah.
I mean, the defense was
That's
good.
impressive.
I'm not going to act like it
Nick
wasn't.
Chubb was hurt too that year. I mean,
Yeah, no, Zach.
But then last
It'd
year
be
they stopped.
disrespectful.
well, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
that's why year to year it's
I'm-
hard to, you know.
Cohen,
Cohen.
I'm C.
Cohen, yeah. He's got a terrible team, terrible quarterback, but it's fine.
Shanahan, he's got to be high A, right?
He's
Split the brothers.
right. No, is he above?
Are we
I'd
putting
say
gaps
he's
in?
out.
Yeah.
That you
What
just
would you say,
grabbed it.
Zach?
I would say he's high A, ahead of Harbaugh's.
Both?
Yeah.
Jared,
Well,
any-
you just moved Jim and John around. You just flipped the two Harbaughs that one.
Yeah, now he's still behind them.
Oh, we're
They look
working
the
on
same.
it.
Is that LaFleur?
Mr.
Yeah,
LaFleur.
it is.
He's got to be A, right?
He's good, but Packer fans were calling for his name last season for some reason when they started off or 2 years ago was that when they started off 2-5.
I think that's a fair spot, between the Harbaugh, between a Harbaugh and Stefanski.
I'd say if we were doing this last offseason, I would put him higher, but last year was kind of
Well, yeah, we got
I
to
don't
be
know. It was like the offense
tempered
just
me a little
wasn't-
bit.
wasn't clicking.
What about his decision to kick the field goal? That was him, right? In the playoffs?
Yeah. That's fine. I mean,
He makes
Whatever.
decisions like that. I mean, yeah, he's a good coach, but Andy Reid's an ass. As much as he's carried by his team, he's still an ass.
him or Kevin O'Connell.
What?
Him or Kevin O'Connell.
I'm going to
Kevin-
put Reed on top right
Yeah,
now. I
I
think.
would take O'Connell.
Really?
O'Connell has so much worse of a team and is still competing every year. Not every year, but most years. Whereas Andy Reid just competes because he has Patrick Mahomes, and I'll stand by that.
Well, I think there's a little bit more to that. Let's look at the offensive
Well,
weapons.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they're
there's more
both
to
two
it.
of the
sure.
best offensive
Yeah.
minds in football in
Yeah.
terms of genes.
I think O'Connell should get more credit though because their team is significantly worse, and he's just I don't know.
I don't know about that. That roster's really good. But
I think
Vikings.
I think that you both
Yeah.
might have a little bit of bias from last year and what Darnold did, but
Yeah,
there might be some reasons.
well, I mean, you look at Kevin O'Connell, right? It's not just Darnold. He did with Kirk Cousins too. I mean, you look at Nick Mullins
Yeah, but
was played a few
Cousins is
games.
no-
He
Josh Dobbs. I mean, let's not act like it. Every quarterback was whispered
well, Josh Dobbs was fine for a bit.
until he threw 4 or 5 picks.
he really
Yeah,
was. He
Yeah,
started
you know
off,
what? A really bad game, but
His first 6 to 8 games were really good, and then it was
like
terrible.
Nick Mullins started for a little bit, and Nick Mullins played pretty good.
Put up points. I mean, Jameis.
Yeah.
You have Jameis lines, but I don't know. I mean, we're splitting hairs at this point. Let's put them both as like this. See how the rest shakes out.
Yeah,
McDonald.
love the guy. He is a good coach. Wait, no, that's McDonald. Hate the guy. Awful coach. F tier.
B.
I think
The team got worse after Pete Carroll
I hate
left.
this dude. You know why I hate this dude, right?
I'm still putting him. I think
That's
he's.
fine, I guess. I don't think we're gonna have anybody in that far, are we?
Probably not. McDonald, or sorry, McDaniel is next. Mike McDaniel.
B.
I think he's a solid B tier. I think he goes.
Yeah.
Is he?
Right there. No, behind.
He's carried by how funny he is of a person. People love him, but he's not the best coach.
Okay. Tomlin.
By Stefanski.
You got to put Tomlin in S. You have
That's
to.
what I was thinking.
He's
too.
never had a
I'll be
negative
honest.
record ever with the teams he's had.
I don't.
Zach, I know you don't like when we bring up that stat. Jared brings that stat a lot, but I
That's what he's known
wholeheartedly
for.
think it's a.
Yeah, it's a cool stat, but it doesn't mean anything because
It's consistency, Zach. What do you mean? That's what a coach. That's how you can be in a coaching spot for so long. You have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you have losing seasons. That's how you get ousted.
they're consistent in losing by 30 the first round of the playoffs. You said
Against
winning
the
is
Bulls.
what matters. They win enough games during the regular season just to get embarrassed. That's what they do. It's what they've done every year since 2015.
But they have
put
the
him-
opportunity to
I
win a
said-
playoff game every single year. That's
No,
impressive.
they don't. They said going to it was a few years ago, going against the Chiefs, first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
They
That
went
was
in
Ben.
saying, we don't have a chance to win
That was
this.
Ben Roethlisberger. That was not
Yeah.
Tomlin. That was
We're
Ben.
just trying to have fun in a playoff game.
I'm going out on a high note here. We're probably going to lose, but we're still going to have fun. That was all Big Ben.
Okay.
You
Let's
can't discredit
revisit those.
Tomlin.
There's a couple coaches here who are going to be intriguing, I feel. So
Okay.
coming up. So that's Vrabel.
Yeah.
Vrabel, you say B?
See why though?
I'd say Vrabel and Tomlin are similar coaches. Tomlin's a little bit better, but I mean, look at
put
Vrabel,
him-
what he did in Tennessee. It's pretty much the same thing as what Tomlin's done in
What is that noise?
Pittsburgh,
Is that a
just
bird or something?
longer.
That's where I put him.
Awesome.
High B. Is that controversial?
Can you hear that bird?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very loud.
Loud.
It'll fly away soon.
It's gonna stay there for like an hour. See, that's where I'm confused about your rankings because Vrabel was good, but then he was
It might
just
mess
fired. Like he was fired. No good coach is fired. Right?
Tennessee wasn't this, but look, he just got hired to an intriguing
Yeah.
situation in New England.
So did Mike Budenholzer for the Suns, and see how that worked out. So did Frank Reich by the Panthers, rebuilding their team. Just because you're rehired doesn't mean it's a good hire.
Dude, this is what I'm
Right.
saying. If Vrabel did the same thing that Tomlin's been doing in Pittsburgh forever. Don't let the fact that Vrabel got fired for being a 500 team.
A 500 team. The team won like 4 games that year.
Did they that year? All right,
Love it.
they-
That's why he got fired because they went from a
No.
playoff contender to like an awful.
Well, that team, there's injuries.
The team was
there were other
terrible.
problems.
Yes,
with it.
the team was awful.
The team got worse.
Yeah.
I think it's the part key part we're missing. I think Zach's trying to make this Tomlin Vrabel thing a real exact thing when it's not. But I think that's kind of where we'll see these from. You got to look at Tomlin. Look at how many years he's done it. I mean, this was
Yeah,
a
I was
one-off
saying
year.
that. It's been a long
Yeah.
I think high B would be fair. Maybe. What if we put we'll play around with this. What if we put Tomlin in the A tier, like top of A tier, with Shanahan, and then it'd kind of be like just a tier up. I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
But we'll see. Sirianni, I think this is also going to establish some things.
I have my spot for him, but you guys might not agree.
Probably not. What do you got?
I think he's at best a B tier.
I was gonna say ahead of Stefanski.
I was going to say low A. So
He's such an overrated coach. Coming from Eagles fans I used to talk to all the time, they hate him. He's a terrible coach. But he gets lucky because his team is really
controversial, I'd say.
It's not just that. He's an awful person. He doesn't know how to coach players. He just gets carried by his team being good, and it's not any credit to him. He doesn't know how to act. He's not a good coach.
He's not a typical coach, which leads to a lot of people hating him because people don't like.
He's not a player's coach either, though. Like, players don't like him either. Like, there's been so many reports that players don't like Stefanski. I mean, not Stefanski. Sirianni.
What about Pete Carroll, who I'd say is a player's coach?
Yeah, he's better than Sirianni, I think.
The stud. I put him ahead of LaFleur.
Carroll?
Maybe that's too aggressive, but I put him up here.
I'd put him B tier. High B tier. Probably.
I guess it's hard. I mean,
tier.
He hasn't had the same.
He's been gone
Jared,
for a year.
You got to be the equalizer here.
He's definitely better than Sirianni. I don't care what anyone says. I wouldn't put Sirianni up there, but
That'd be
just me.
okay.
Move on from Sirianni, Jared.
Well, you're telling me to compare Pete Carroll to where he goes. So
That doesn't feel right because Vrabel's down here.
I don't know.
I think Vrabel's better than Carroll. I mean, if I'm looking at, they're both got fired. Both, nah. I think we stick with this for now. Okay, Raheem Morris.
he's got to be C, top of C.
I think. I mean, I think what he did with that team in Atlanta versus what McDonald did with Seattle. I think you'd go Morris, but again, that's also speculating on team needs and whatnot. Sean McVay.
A. Probably A or S, yeah.
I would say I'd put him there. Can you all see that?
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know, dude. This is so like hard to rank. Like we could be way off by so many of these.
Is that McDermott?
Yep.
Oh, B.
Probably. I'm just.
It's hard because all these coaches do different things. We don't know exactly what they all do. Players is very, very easy to see their production, their numbers. Coaches, there's no tangible.
Well, and the exercise through this again comes down to what we talked about was teams, that we feel maybe overachieve records, and and with their coaches respectively, the coaches who could win with a roster that's not as good as we feel. That's kind of how I gauge it. So I think that's kind of where we see some of these guys up in this tier. Like, look at these three guys. Look at O'Connell, McVay, and Tomlin. What's something they all have in common?
Yeah.
They win.
One
consistent.
Well, like Sirianni, he's been winning.
But here's the thing.
You say he's a good team. He should win.
Let me just say that I'm torn between Sirianni and Tomlin, the spots they're in, to be honest.
Okay.
Because if you're going on, we rated Tomlin high because of how consistently he wins, like Zach said. But then Sirianni wins more games and it has just better teams and has chances to win the Super Bowl every year. Whereas Tomlin is like, yeah, he wins, makes the playoffs, but like, what credit is that?
I was. Wait, Jared, so you're changing your heart because you were kind of the one who was poo-pooing Sirianni.
I just don't like the dude. He might be a good coach, like as in he wins games, but I can't stand the guy. It's more of a.
I think this.
It's more of a we beat the Eagles beat the Colts and he jumps up and says that's for Frank Reich. Like what the hell are you talking about? Like he's just a cornball.
Okay, so there's some bias. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got, Zach?
What?
Put Sirianni ahead of LaFleur, and now he's middle bay essentially.
I'm tempted.
I would move Sirianni
Tomlin
back a little
down.
bit. I'd move Tomlin down. Because the issue with Sirianni, though, is he isn't calling plays. Never does. All these other guys do.
True.
So how much does that factor into it?
What does he do then? Just stands there? Like.
Well, no, he's still like going over strategy and stuff like that. He's just not calling the actual plays.
Also, why are we still putting Jim Harbaugh in front of John Harbaugh? Like, please explain that to me.
You said you were fine with that.
Like, just looking at, I'm looking back at this stuff, and it's like I just don't understand how we can put a one-time coach. Yeah, the Chargers were good, sure, they didn't win a playoff game. Like. John Harbaugh
has been the same thing as Mike Tomlin, basically. They're good teams, but they're
way better teams.
Yeah, but they've still never made it. Have they made it to the AFC Championship? I think they lost to the Chiefs one year, but they haven't made it to the Super Bowl. It's like they are good regular season, make playoffs, and lose.
I personally think this is fine.
John
Harbaugh.
So we have
John Harbaugh is. Yeah, John Harbaugh is known as like a top 3 coach.
I feel like the A tier should get cut off, and maybe even Harbaugh should shift down to B, just to like shift everyone down because we're not going to have anybody in F.
I think we got to go through. If we finish this list and then we can do that part.
Okay, that's fine.
Because there's some other guys we haven't even got to. Like, Dan Campbell. I don't know how we'll feel about having him, but
yeah. Okay. Sean Payton.
Yep.
B.
Oof.
B.
He's a guy I would have somewhere in A.
Yeah, same.
Is he above the Harbaughs?
Well, okay. Saints, Sean Payton. Amazing.
Broncos, Sean Payton's not?
It was 1 year, and it was, I mean, whatever. Do what you want. I think he's like.
Yeah, it's 1 year where he showed he still has success from when he was with the Saints.
All
He's
I'm
been
saying is I'm
pretty well.
looking at outside sources right now, and our list is awful. I'm just saying.
Who's to say
Like,
their list
like-
is bad?
it's like 4 different lists, and they all compare. I mean,
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not trying to make it dictate our list, but I'm just looking at it for reference. Like,
Well-
John Harbaugh's a top 3 coach on all these lists. We have him at 3, 4, 5, 6,
He should
7,
not be top
8.
three. I don't
Yeah, we disagree.
Yeah, like at best, Sean Payton's like 11 at the highest. That's why I'm like, I don't want to like overrate these guys or underrate some of them.
I put him with the floor. I mean, like I do this. We haven't even gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's keep going. Peyton, or sorry, Sean McDermott.
I'd say he's got to be B.
What's the knock on him though?
That team's success is very much hindered on who the offensive coordinator is. The defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Exactly
a
it.
defensive guy, but like you've seen, their defense has let them down in a lot of huge situations.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't remember who their OC was before Joe Brady, but once Joe Brady took over, that offense took a huge step forward.
Ken Dorsey.
The defense has always been solid, but it's like they get to the playoffs, they get to huge situations, and the defense isn't there. So that's his thing, you know.
The B tier guys are more team dependent, if you will, and maybe that's not a great way to look at it, but I think that's a fair way to look at it.
Yeah,
I think the A and S tier so far are guys who can impact their team in terms of you see it more on the win-loss record, and then that's where S tier really comes into play.
here's my thing on going back to Sean Payton. The way I look at it is that offense was probably top 10 last year, right?
Back
You
end,
look
yeah.
at, I mean, they had rookie quarterback in Bo Nix who had a phenomenal year. What kind of weapons did they have? Cortland
Sutton, Vele, Marvin Mims.
Exactly. They had Sutton, who's a wide receiver, probably 2 on a lot of teams, a lot of playoff teams anyways. And it's like outside of that, it's Javonte Williams was their lead running back, who's averaging, I think, like 3-point-some yards a carry, like 3.8, 3.9 yards a carry.
Yeah, 3 different guys. Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime.
They had nothing on offense, but that offense was still top 10.
Yeah.
That's why I think Sean Payton's high, Jared.
Well, Sean
Even if it
Payton
was
is
1
going to end up on this list probably as coach 9 or 10. So this isn't crazy. I don't feel it's crazy.
Do we factor in like giving up a first round pick for a head coach? Does that matter?
No. How's that have anything to do with how good the coach is?
I mean, I'm saying it might like add to his value. Like, hey, he's so good that we traded the first for him.
Ben
Drew
Johnson.
doesn't care, just moves on. Cool.
Well, yeah, we've debated Sean Payton for a bit now.
Cool. I give my 5 seconds of
No,
input.
you were on your
and
phone
cuts
the
me
whole
off
time
and
when we were
moves on.
talking about it. So
Looking up
I figured
other
you were-
lists. I'm looking up other lists. A lot of people have Sean Payton at number 3. So like I'm just like, whoa, that's crazy.
I'd say Ben Johnson should be right ahead of Mike McDaniel.
That's fair.
I was going to put him middle of B, but it's hard. Again, he's never coached.
Yeah. It's because I think if you look at both their expertises are offensive, like the new style offense, and the big knock on Mike McDaniels is he can't like command the locker room, right? That's what we've seen. It kind of seems like players walk all over on him. From what we've seen out of Ben Johnson, it looks like he's better at that, or at least does a decent job. And I don't think that he might even be better play caller than Mike McDaniel. So
Could be.
that's my take on it.
Jared, any?
No, it's fine. Are we moving on? Or do I have 2
probably not.
seconds to talk about it? Or are we moving
That's
on?
right.
My only complaint is that if you're ranking him off of like no head coach experience, you got to look in the D tier and be like, well, what are we ranking him off of then? Because it's like, you know, I feel like you factor. We're looking at head coach only, right? So like, he doesn't have head coach experience, but he was a great this, he was a great that. Well, you can't rank one of those people higher and then one of them lower if they have like different coordinator experiences. You expect him to be amazing, yes.
You expect him to be the most impactful new hire head coach. That's the expectation. So I think we rank like that. That's a fair way to look at it. But
even if you go off there past Ben Johnson against Kellen Moore, like it's still 9-day difference. Yeah, Kellen Moore is good enough to get a head coaching job, but he was nowhere near Ben Johnson as offensive coordinator.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's hard to rank that, coaches that haven't really coached, like had a head coaching job.
Well, how about a coach who has coached but not well? Shane Steichen.
I'm gonna let you guys rank this because, to be honest, I don't know. I want to see where you put it. I think I have my spot picked out, but I'm not like sold on it.
Two former coordinators go together. This is at least how I look at it. Probably there.
Zach, would you agree?
I would probably go ahead of Donald.
What do you got, Jared?
2 years ago, I had him in A tier. Now I have him bottom of B. I don't think he's worse than McDonald. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, well, concessions I'll make. Move him here.
That's McDaniels.
If you look at, you said back in a B, Jared, we're really talking, one coach spot apart.
Yeah.
I mean, not terrible, but I get the tier part. And we might have to tier, as Zach alluded to, we might have to move Stefanski to top of B and then do some movement there. And
that is McDonald, right? In front of him, right?
Behind him. Ahead of him is
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. Okay, where is
McDaniels right ahead of Raheem Morris at the bottom of B.
Oh yeah, there. Okay. We're good then. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I don't really love the dude. Like he could be fired this year if we don't have a good year.
And that's kind of how I look at it, Jared. But yeah, 2 years. Look at that team. Obviously if they would have won that game, but
he was almost coach of the year 2 years ago.
Seriously, yeah, we were talking about that on this very show. I mean, you brought up him as a preliminary candidate.
Yeah.
Okay, Todd Bowles.
B somewhere.
I thought he would be right behind D'Amico.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
That's a good great spot. Zach Taylor. I need help.
I don't know.
Right ahead of Raheem Morris.
Like, how much do you blame their defense on him, and how much do you blame it on?
I blame those slow starts 100% on him.
Yeah, every year. I mean, it's just hard to look at a stat like that. If we're gonna look at wins and losses, Jared, we gotta look at like like first 6 games or whatever the stat is.
Make some adjustments, guy. Come on, it's been 4 or 5 years now. Like, I think you know what the issue is, right?
Yeah.
Brian Dable.
That's a tough one for me.
I was Mr. Brian Dable. I was Brian Dable fan club president.
This dude was another coach of the year candidate. Did he win it? He might have.
He won it.
They went 10-6 or 10-7 with.
Yeah, but they won that playoff game.
Yeah, they did. With Daniel Jones, one good year.
I still think he's a solid coach, and just that team is the QB situation has been.
So if you put him on the Chiefs, do they still make the Super Bowl? Are they still
No, he's not that good. But
would that bother you, Jared, if I did that?
I'm not going to say it doesn't. But they are similar.
Did you say here, Zach?
Oh no, I said he's similar to Steichen.
Oh well, that's why I was like, I'm putting him here.
So in that case, if
Yeah,
they're
it's
similar, put Steichen in front of them because you don't want to make me mad, do you?
No, because Dable's
I'd
won
love
Coach
to.
of the Year.
Oh, then
Steichen hasn't been in conversation yet.
okay, fair enough.
Or was he that 1 year? I don't even know.
He was like, no, I don't think he was a finalist. It was well AFC, right? It was AFC and NFC, or was it just straight up? Is it always?
NFC?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was D'Amico Ryans, Shane Steichen,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
Kevin
it's NFL Coach of
Stefanski.
the Year.
Yeah,
Oh, is it? It's just
but
one.
Yes.
yeah.
Zach's thinking it's baseball, NL and AL.
Yeah.
Okay. Callahan?
D.
Probably one of the worst. I was gonna say.
So far, it hasn't looked great at all. I mean, do we put him ahead of? Yeah, we gotta give
Yeah, that's fine.
do it like that.
What do you mean we
Schottenheimer
have
actually
to?
gotta
What do you mean we
be
have to?
Well, I think it would be reasonable.
Schottenheimer is probably the worst, right? If there's anyone in
Yeah,
F,
he's
it's
straight
probably
up
him,
Schottenheimer.
right?
Well, we're gonna reshuffle.
Yeah. No, I'm curious
Dan
about where you put him.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
I think I'd put him up here. I'd put him.
You say up
McDermott.
there and then put him in B is crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I put him up here, and he puts him. in the
I
middle
was
of the
looking
pack.
where in A. Where in A
That's
should he
what-
go?
That's exactly what I was looking at. I looked at LaFleur.
Really?
I looked at Sirianni. I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, if I put him with someone, I put him right behind Sirianni. This is kind of where
I think ahead of LaFleur.
Yeah, I think he's a good coach, dude. Like,
But you were
Make some
harping on
stupid
a guy for being
decisions,
strictly
but-
vibes, a head coach being strictly vibes and strategic. I mean, that is literally a prototype of what that is.
Campbell
I
called
also-
plays. His first year in Detroit, he called plays for the last half of the season.
dude, when they won
Remember when
that last
Amon
game,
Ra was a rookie and he went off at the end of the
Yeah, but
season?
Zach, Ben
That
Johnson's
was when
been,
Dan Campbell was calling plays.
didn't they go like 1-16, and he was like so hyped on the
Yes, Zach.
sidelines? Like,
a player went off for fantasy and he called the plays. Do you want me to list other players who have gone off when players?
who
I'm
else
saying, like-
occasionally goes to an offensive lineman as a receiver and succeeds 10 out of 10 times? Like, come on,
That's
this
Ben
guy's like,
Johnson.
well,
That's
it was
Ben
the
Johnson.
Lions.
Well, and that's kind of the
what
point
I'm
I was
saying
making.
is that year it wasn't just St. Brown though. It was when he was calling plays versus when he wasn't. It was like a 4 or 5 point game difference. Like the offense was horrendous at the beginning of the year, and he started calling plays, and it got back to like a respectable offense. They still sucked as a team, but that's beside the point. You know, it's that the defense.
I
was
just you
horrible
just
that
see, but I just want you to realize something, acknowledge something, maybe besides Tomlin. Look at all the coaches ahead of Campbell, or even in that tier for that matter. They all are, besides Sirianni too. But point is, they're all very instrumental in the offense, and furthermore, we see that impacted across the teams. These are some of the most creative play callers in the NFL. I mean, not discounting Campbell, but it's like, isn't that maybe more valuable for a coach? Obviously, Campbell, what he's done and the coordinators he's had with him, right? I mean, both getting head coaching jobs says a lot about him and his position. I mean, where we're talking again, we were really only talking like three coaches apart. Obviously, the tiers optically makes it look worse, but we were literally talking three coaches.
So you taking him or Sirianni?
That's. I don't know. I'd say I'd have them back to back.
All right, then.
But
I mean, I'll take Campbell over Sirianni.
Same.
okay, well,
I guess
Would you take
where
LaFleur?
LaFleur is. I mean, I guess I'll take Campbell just
Doesn't
because
matter for me.
they've been more consistent, won more games. But I can.
that was just 2 seasons, Zach. I mean,
Well, yeah, but how far back can you go? You know, you go back 3 years, it's a totally different. The game is different. You know, what works is different. So, I mean, if you say LaFleur over Campbell, I mean, I completely understand the point, but
they're back to back. Okay,
yeah.
Jared, is there
No, I'm fine with that. That's fine.
Dan Quinn?
B. What?
Why is this guy so high on some? What?
I'm saying back by like D'Amico. Behind
Literally.
D'Amico.
Literally.
Why do you like Dan Quinn so much?
Well, again, I'm looking at guys who, I mean, obviously
He's looking
second
at 1
stint
year.
too, but
That was carried by Jaden Daniels.
again, it's a little different too. I'm not saying a defensive coach can't be ranked that high, or if that matters. Well, of course it matters. He's calling some sort of plays, but
His defense was horrible. So yeah, he was calling plays, but it wasn't for a good unit. I mean, sure, they had that defense didn't have a talent, sure, but it still wasn't.
that's where I'd go. But I'd also say, yeah, it's okay. Canales,
Sure. Don't care.
I'd say ahead of McDaniel.
yeah, see there. Yeah, okay. So preliminary, that's how it looks. What kind of first things
So
do
you
we
think
feel?
there's S tier coaches, and one of them is, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I
What?
like
Talk to us.
No, I don't know. I just there's a lot of just weird things that you guys don't like agree the way like you don't see it the way I see it. Like there's no way you're saying that Kevin O'Connell is the best coach in the league. Are we? Is that really what we're saying?
Who is?
I mean, I'd take both S tier guys over him.
I had Reed ahead of them, and you
I would
both
take-
said no.
I would take John
Jared.
Harbaugh over him.
No, hold on. You saw rankings, and now we're saying different things. You had Reed originally.
No. I swear to God, I did not. I looked right here, and I looked. You said anything you want to change about the list, and I looked at the top of S tier, and I'm like, Kevin O'Connell is not the best head coach in the league.
I had Reed number 1, and you told me Patrick Mahomes is the reason, and he's overrated, and Reed's overrated.
I thought we'd put more in S tier, to be honest, so we'd have more competition.
Our S tier is always 3 or 4.
So, like,
it always
You asked me, I would probably expand and put Tomlin for sure in there, but I would even maybe consider Shanahan back in the best, personally. But
so you guys think right now that Kevin O'Connell is the best head coach in the league? Just so I know.
I personally think it should go like this. But that's me.
If we're making the argument that Kevin O'Connell is the best head coach, then yes, I agree with you. You should switch him. Andy Reid is better. But saying that Andy Reid is the best, also, it doesn't sit right with me. I don't know.
I think about it, Jared, like that too, but I'm like, well, then who is the best? It's one of these 3 guys in my eyes. And sure, if you want to include one of the other. Sure. I mean, if you ask people, they probably give you one of these 6 gentlemen, right? Maybe they throw in one of these guys back here, Campbell or Sirianni. But
I think most people think Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, Harbaugh, McVay, O'Connell. Yeah, like, but I don't know. It doesn't. I don't like that John Harbaugh is 7th on our list. That just doesn't seem right to me either. I don't know.
okay,
We think too much of team success and like how it's hard to compare.
It's a tough equation to play.
Yeah.
It's a tough game to play.
Does Harbaugh call plays? John?
See, that's why I can't be too like strong feeling on these opinions because like I don't know much about these guys besides what team they coach and how they've done as coaches.
I thought McDonald called plays when he was in Baltimore. I could be wrong though, I guess, but
well, how about let's look at tier rankings itself. I guess if there's any big positional discrepancies, or spot like position being what position they're in on this tier thing. Let's tackle those and then we can read tier quick.
I don't know. What would you change? I don't really feel one way or the other on most of these, besides like a few.
These, in my eyes, these are the top 12 coaches. I mean, well, they are because there's 12 guys here. But the point is, like, if you were asked to name the 12 best coaches, I think you'd get these 12 gentlemen. I don't think that'd be a question. Maybe you get like a Ben Johnson or something weird like that. So I think the spots are okay. Maybe again a balance here. I was looking like, does Stefanski need to go to B, high B? But then I'm like, I do think these A tier guys are clearly better than the B tier guys.
So let me just take one of these lists and read off the top 12 on this list. If it,
Go for it.
So this list is, I'll read two of them. This one is a little against Tomlin being so high. This has Tomlin at 12, then Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Sean McDermott, Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell at 7, Kyle Shanahan at 6, Sirianni 5, McVay is 4, Dan Campbell 3, John Harbaugh 2, Andy Reid 1.
Okay.
That's one of them. And then the other one I'll read is from PFF, which is more credible, I would say. This has Kevin Stefanski at 10. We're close there.
12.
Dan Campbell at 9. Pretty close. Sirianni at 8. Okay. Shanahan at 7. We have him at 5.
Yep.
Jim Harbaugh at 6. Mike Tomlin at 5. John Harbaugh at 4. Sean McVay 3. Sean Payton 2. And Andy Reid 1.
Yeah.
This doesn't have Kevin O'Connell in the top 10, though.
Oh,
that's where I'm like, yeah, but that's where I'm like, are we really going to say he's a top 2? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating on him. I don't know. Everything was good, though. Like,
I think, well,
that list.
Obviously, besides O'Connell, we're pretty well aligned, and Peyton, they have much higher, but yeah, I don't know. That makes me feel better in regards to.
So what do you guys see in O'Connell? Like, tell me why he's a top 2 head coach. Exactly why. As Packer fans too, you can use some bias here too if you want.
Which feels weird. We're propping up a division rival. I don't know if Zach wants to talk, but the big piece, right, has been what the impact he's had on the offensive side of the ball for Minnesota has been big. Obviously, again, the team was of course better than people thought last year, like coming in. Like, no denying that, but what we've seen from the offense has been crucial. Passing game more so. Obviously, quarterback whisperer you hear is the name with him, but that's truly been everywhere he's gone. He's made an impact on the offensive side of the ball, and which has led to crazy good years. A 14-win season for that Minnesota team last year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So maybe some recency bias, if you really want to say.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's easier to look over a season like, was it like 3 years ago? They had like 8 wins, 9 wins. But they also had injuries. They had,
Yeah.
It's hard to blame him for that.
What do you got, Zach?
I mean, if you look at the track record, the quarterbacks he's been with have outperformed what they have been able to do with anybody else. And I mean, you look at Sam Darnold, he's never been able to run a successful offense with anybody. Goes to Minnesota, and it's a top 10 offense. Kirk Cousins, you look at what he was in Washington, what he did in Atlanta last year, night and day difference. I mean, it's –
yeah.
No, I mean, they got to the playoffs, 3 straight years now? Right? So –
obviously, they haven't made that big run, and that's where, sure, I mean, if you want to – right, McVay to the likes of Reed, I mean, let's just take those top 6-7 guys. They've made deeper runs than O'Connell.
Here's the other thing, though, is like all those guys that who has made a deep run with a bridge quarterback or not a franchise quarterback? Nobody has, right?
The 49ers, I guess, with Garoppolo. But
yeah,
that's the only one I can think of, really.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good.
And I mean, Minnesota, they have their franchise quarterback now with J.J. McCarthy. So,
we also said Richardson was a franchise quarterback 2 years ago as well. So, they hope to have.
Yeah,
their
and Shane
franchise
Steichen's
guy.
going to get fired for it. So,
Well, I'm just saying
You know what I
that JJ might be their quarterback. I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
hope he
can't
is.
pencil him in. I agree with Jared on this.
Yeah.
correct.
But no, I do give him
The
credit
track record
for-
looks good.
Yeah.
In 2 or 3 years, when you look at Kevin O'Connell, it's going to depend on how JJ McCarthy is.
So say
100%.
JJ comes out and he's terrible. The Vikings win 5 games this year. Then where do you rank O'Connell based off of that? Like rankings change.
That'd be rough.
Yeah.
He'd be back in probably the low A, high B.
Yeah.
He'd still be a coach. They wouldn't fire him. I mean,
Right.
No, he's got at least a year leeway. If they do back-to-back 5-win seasons now, he's gone.
But that's what I'm saying. Like bias for the Colts here. If Richardson would have came out last year and like was a Pro Bowler, he was a great quarterback. Like Steichen would be almost A tier because of the quarterback
but
play.
he was
It's just
nowhere
hard.
near. And
Yeah,
the
I know.
quarterbacks they
I'm
did
saying.
have were horrible.
I know. I'm just saying. It's
Okay.
theoretic. You know,
Well-
it's hard to rank a coach based on just how good their quarterback is because like they don't have full say in. I mean, yeah, they work right with them, but like, you know what I mean.
Both of those examples, those head coaches chose their quarterback. So,
Like
use bad
yeah,
examples,
they
you know.
chose, but they're not on the field. They're not throwing the interceptions. They're not, you know, like they can only control so much. But they get the blame for having that 5-win season because their quarterback is terrible. So it's really hard to rank some of these guys because of that.
yeah. Well, do you have any other things here on these before we wrap it up?
Where do we have Cohen? We have him in C tier.
Yeah, back end of C.
Obviously.
Put him in D tier.
He's-
I'd be happier.
He's going to be higher at the end of the year.
You think so?
I think.
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
gonna,
of guys who can make a leap, you know, and I think that's going to be the big thing is
I think
obviously
Gallman
his
is
first year,
better.
someone's going to make a leap. Someone's going to stay in the same spot.
Yeah.
And
Well, what if Murr's punishment ends this year and he doesn't have to be a head coach anymore? Then he goes to F tier or what?
I mean, if they don't make the playoffs, he's gone. So
Yeah.
all right.
you think Zach Taylor's gone if Cincinnati loses first round playoffs?
Nah. He's been there for a while, hasn't he?
6-7 years. I think.
Zach.
Yeah.
You're,
It's your
yeah.
Bengals, isn't it?
Of veteran coaches to be on a leash, or sorry, coaches who have playoff expectations, who I'd say are on a leash. It starts with Taylor, then goes right away to McDermott already.
I would say Stefanski too, depending on how good they are this year. If they're terrible this year,
Like
like
hard to
it's
say
not-
they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
well, I mean, 2 years ago they won 12 games. They were a playoff team 2 years ago, and now they got
It's hard to
Flacco
say
back.
Harbaugh is with Baltimore. I mean,
No, I don't think so.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he shouldn't be, but if you just look at it, it hasn't gone their way. And obviously with Lamar there, you got to still stick with him.
I'm saying
but it's really those two coaches. I'd say McDermott and Taylor are probably the biggest.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Taylor, right? If they get off to a 2-4 start and end up, you know, even if they make the playoffs, they're like 10-7, they end up going to Buffalo or something and losing a 1-score game. I mean, I think Taylor's gone, right?
So
Yeah.
so
'Cause it's
it's
like-
coming out. It's coming out now that you made this list based on the coach's fire ability if they don't perform next year. That was like your criteria. Is like
No,
if
we
they don't produce,
established
they might
what it
get
was.
fired. Well, for Zach,
Yeah.
I feel like your criteria is more on like
No, because I agreed McDermott has a chance to get fired, and he's high B tier.
I was just talking generally of
Yeah, I
the
guess.
guys. It was just a follow up question.
it's. I guess it's just ironic. No, it's like normal, I guess, because all the bad coaches have a chance to get fired. That's why they're low. So I mean, it just
Yep.
makes sense, I guess.
He's just a guy that's consistently underperformed expectations for multiple years in a row now. So that's why he's
Did
getting
he-
fired.
How much credit do you or discredit do you give Zach Taylor for that defense last year?
Not a
'Cause,
whole
like,
lot.
Because people were saying, well, is it Anarumo, Ben, whatever, Colts new guy?
Your new DC.
People were saying, oh, well, he's not to blame for that. That's all on Zach Taylor. But now I'm hearing that it's not to blame on Zach Taylor. So, like,
Yeah, no.
did they just have a
I
bad
mean, I
team?
give some blame because the defense was the same as basically the whole team in general. It was horrible at the beginning of the year, and that's why they were losing games. The offense wasn't what it was at the end of the year either, but it was a lot better than the defense was. But it was like the whole team like kind of started at the bottom and then kind of got better as the season went on. The defense was just not good enough that their slow start was anywhere near NFL level. So
yeah. We can do offensive coordinators next week. No,
No. This is the only kind of personnel we will do.
Yeah.
Not general managers either. But all right, that'll wrap it here for Zack Rausch, Jared Valleskey, myself, Drew Skyberg here on this Wednesday night. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, The Journey to $1 Million, the perfect podcast for you.